Hey yo, it's your boy D5Ds here, man. And you tapped in with the youngest in charge right now. Passive income with KJ. Doing it big. D5.
Hex and drip, hex and drip. All a nigga need is some hex and drip. 1% a day, I be printing drip. When I get post chain, I'ma stick that shit. Hex and drip, hex and drip. All a nigga need is some hex and drip. 1% a day, I be printing drip. When I get post chain, I'ma stick that shit. 555, feel like Richard Hart. Forex got a nigga eating off the main farm. In the pen with some pigs, in the pools with dogs. And I just got a call from the R2R.
These kinds of back-end lending adjustments. And with V2, we ensured that we have the ability to make these kinds of adjustments in case the person who we're lending to, or in this case PancakeSwap, changed up their pools or their farms or whatever contract that we're interacting with. So we absolutely have the ability to make this adjustment. We can make it very easily. It's really just a matter of us adding the new pools, but we want to do it in the most seamless way possible that will allow people to basically migrate with just a couple clicks. But this is relatively easy work. So I think what we're going to do is create an easy, fast way for people to do it and get it out in the next couple of days, and then a more seamless way for people to do it where it's just like a couple buttons to click or whatever. But it's not a big deal. It's very easy for us to address. All we have to do is add the new stable pools, which is something that is like would take a day to do. So it's not it's actually a good thing because the yield that we'll be earning is actually going to be increased, and some people have already noticed that because they already made some adjustments. So I'm going to give it 2 or 3 more minutes for people to come in before I get into any like real details. But I'm happy to say that we had a great launch or deployment of the governance system and all of the other updates that we made to the farm, to the contracts in the sense of the 20% larger allocation of BNB to the dog pound, to the auto dog pound, I should say. And everything went perfectly. Now, I'm just thinking, should I give it like 1 more minute? Oh no, I'll just get into it. So I'm going to record this, and I'm sure I'm not sure, but Bartertown is probably live right now. Maybe it's not, but regardless, I know there's a couple people that are probably streaming this live. But when we get off of this, I will be uploading this to the Animal Farm YouTube channel. This way we can start to pump out some of our own native content and get more of a presence on YouTube, because that's going to help us when it comes to getting placements on other large YouTube channels. If they see that we're able to draw in a nice audience on YouTube and we have a consistent YouTube channel that puts out good content, it'll be a lot easier to get placements on with other YouTubers. So after we get off this call, we will be uploading this chat to YouTube. So let me just so I see there's still some people coming in, so let me just give it 1 minute. Welcome, everybody. Okay, let's get started. So first, I'm going to talk about the governance. our governance system uses an ESN, so Ethereum name server, which is a decentralized domain that we are that we've deployed, and we're utilizing the snapshot API in combination with our decentralized domain to take snapshots of the blockchain, specifically the Pigpen contract, and we're allowing people to vote based on their stake of the Pigpen contract. Now, you guys may be familiar with some other projects that have utilized a governance system like this. One thing that's pretty cool and innovative about ours is we wrote our own custom contracts to be able to do it in a very innovative way. So we're not just accounting for pigs in people's wallets, right? Because Snapshot and the API that we're utilizing by default is set up to allow people to vote based on tokens in their wallet. And of course, that's able to be manipulated if you don't have any kind of vesting model that ensures the people that participate in the vote will be a part of the system they're voting with. Then there's a little bit of a vulnerability there where someone could buy a ton of a token just to influence a vote for some short-term gain, or just to cause fun or whatever, and then sell those tokens, and now they don't have to live with the decision that they just made. So what we did was we created our own custom contracts, which pulled the data from the Pigpen, and it looks at the depositor value of the Pigpen, and it feeds this data to the Snapshot API. So when the proposal is made, it takes a snapshot of the balances on the Pigpen contract and the addresses associated with those balances, and it treats it as if they are the holders of those tokens. So it allows them to vote as if the tokens were in their wallet, because that's how the Snapshot API works. But in reality, they're staked in our contract. And we did this so the people who are voting on the system are voting as owners of the protocol through staking in the Pigpen contract. And this ensures that, for one, they are legitimate investors in our protocol. They are vested in the protocol for at least 50 days, right? Because there's a 2% vesting unlock in the Pigpen. So you stake in the Pigpen, and you can withdraw at a rate of 2% a day. You can withdraw your principal at a rate of 2% a day. So that ensures that the people who are having an influence on the vote are a part of the system and are voting as owners of the protocol. Now, there are a couple different ways you can set up proposals. One of them, which we tried, right? We tried for like 2 seconds before before we saw, okay, we'd give it a shot. But I knew this was a high probability, but I wanted to give it a shot anyways. But one of the ways you could do it is you could allow anybody to submit proposals, and you could use that as a way just to allow people to make submissions and do voting. And then there would be a screening process of what proposals we decide to move on and which ones we don't. Or you can do it in a way, which is the way that we'll be doing it, where only the deployer of the dogs token, in this case, can make a final proposal. But the proposals that will be put forth will come through a community vote. So and we'll give a form for people who want to submit proposal requests. And this way, we won't have a situation like we had this morning, which we knew would be likely, but we wanted to give people a chance anyways, right? Where people will use the ability to submit proposals to get across some message that is whatever, to promote their scam project or cause trouble or whatever the case is, right? And right, if you have a system that's open to, in our case, we have something like 150,000 active users. There's going to be one or two of them that will have their own incentives that have nothing to do with the health or quality of the project, that will want to use the proposal system to submit a proposal to promote some link or shill a scam or just write some message or whatever. So if you guys read the Medium article, you'll see that I wrote in the Medium article that the AFD deployer would be the wallet that is the one that can submit final proposals, and that's the way it's set up now. I wanted to give a chance to see if we could allow everybody to submit proposals and then have a filtering system there, but as expected, people will try to take advantage of that. So the way that we're going to handle it is for things that are obvious, things that we know everybody wants, we know that we need, such as how often we'll do the pigpen injections, right? This is something that we know we need to have a vote on. So there's no point to having some community-based submission process for that. We're just going to get that up, and that will be the first proposal that pigpen stakers will be voting on. Now, the reason why that proposal is not already live is because once a proposal is submitted, it takes a snapshot of the blockchain and allows people to vote based on the snapshot. So if we already had made the proposal live, anybody who was waiting to see how the governance system works before staking into the pigpen would not be able to participate in the vote. And it was important to me, and it's important to our team and our community, that people are able to make an educated decision. So to allow people to make an educated decision, it was important that first we did a test vote so people could see how the voting process went, which is up there now and anybody can check it out. And now that it's public, what API we're using, what governance system we're using, people can look into it, do some research on it. That way they can prepare themselves. So when the proposal is made and that snapshot is taken, they can decide whether they want to be in or not. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a 1 week countdown. So next Thursday, we're going to have this vote. And what this does is it allows people a week to check out the system, see how the governance system will work, potentially check out the benefits of the pigpen if you haven't already done that, and get yourself in the pigpen before next Thursday when the proposal is made, when it's deployed, because you're going to need to be in the pigpen when this proposal is deployed in order for your pigs in the pigpen to count towards this proposal. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're late, for example, say we make the proposal next Thursday, and then next Friday you decide to stake into the pigpen, it's not a big deal. You won't be able to participate in that vote, but you will be able to participate in the next vote. And you'll be earning as an owner as soon as you enter in there. Now, as far as the adjustments that we made to the auto compounded contract, this is live right now. And what this means is we have put a 20% weighting on dogs in the auto compounding dog pound. So if you have one dog in the linear pool and one dog in the auto dog pound, the dog in the auto dog pound is going to be allocated 20% more B&B than your dogs in the linear pool. So that means people in the auto dog pound are going to see a 10% increase in the amount of B&B they're earning per dog and a 20% difference between their dogs in the linear and their dogs in the auto. Why did we do this? Because the stakes in the auto dog pound not only maximally benefit the user because you're earning just as much and now more B&B than you would in the linear pool, plus this B&B is being put to work for you to both add liquidity and buy dog tokens and allow you to earn compound interest yielding AFP tokens, which is increasing your ownership of the platform as long as the AFP tokens that you're earning are staked into the pig pen. So not only is it maximally benefiting you as a participant, it's also maximally benefiting the platform and our native assets. And when you can align incentives that way, it's very powerful. And when you have your incentives aligned in a way where it's maximally benefiting the user and maximally benefiting the platform and the native assets, you want to put as much incentive as possible on this. So this is why we made the adjustment where there's now a 20% greater B&B allocation to the auto dog pound relative to the linear. So you will see a greater B&B payout. Now, people who have been in from day one and people who are paying attention know that we have millions of dollars worth of capital ready to go to support our native assets and to be injected into the dog pound and the pig pen. We're going to be extremely strategic about how we deploy this capital. There's very good reasons for this. One of the reasons is because we want to ensure that it's benefiting the long-term user over time. So if we were to just take all of that capital and execute it in one large buy order, for example, on dogs, that's going to greatly affect the dog token. Right? That's going to make it do, 5x instantly. But then people who are just, interested in short-term profits will just basically arbitrage that value out. Now, because of the loyalty system and the variable tax associated with dogs, if they did that now, they would end up losing a large portion of that capital, and it would be cycled back into the ecosystem and go to the people who didn't do that. But still, there would be an arbitrage opportunity there, which we don't want to use as a reward for short-term users, so or people with short-term perspectives. So this is a very long-term project. I have plans for this project going scheduled right now out until 2024. So we want to utilize this capital over time and have it be a treasury to support the long-term health of the project. And one of the ways that we're going to use it is to offset the initial wave of sales that come in based on the day one people to enter the project. So what I mean by that is there's a significant amount of people that got in day one, either people that bought day one or people that were in V1 that got the V2 tokens, right? And a decent portion of these people have gotten to the dog pound and they have their tax being reduced at around the same rate. Some of them are in auto, some of them are linear. Some of them didn't get into the dog pound, but there's some portion of them, it's not a huge amount, but some portion that have their taxes reducing at the same pace. And because of the way that the dog pound works, where it's not a traditional vesting system that has traditional unlocking events, we do not have to worry about some predictable day that all of a sudden a bunch of these tokens become unlocked and hit the market. So because of that, we don't have to worry about some major sell event in the future. But there will be some point where a decent chunk of people have reduced their tax down to a significant level. Maybe they've reduced their tax down to 20% or 10%, and the price is up significantly, and they'll say, okay, I might take a 20% hit, I might take a 30% hit, but I'm up 5x, so it makes sense for me to take a 20% or 30% hit now before everybody else has their tax reduced more and someone sells and I miss this opportunity. And at that point, somebody will sell. And then when people see this one person sold, it will trigger a handful of other people to sell. Now, the beautiful thing about Animal Farm is because everybody will try to front run each other in this situation, the initial people that do it will end up paying a very large tax. This tax will be swapped for BNB and BUSD and be an incentive for everybody else to not do that. And it will be an increasing incentive. And not just the BNB and BUSD that those initial sellers put into the system. It will be whatever they put into the system times whatever the price appreciation has been since they've been in the system. So the price, if the price is up, say 10x, then it will be whatever the BNB they put into the system times 10x, right? That will be used as an incentive for people to remain in. And this incentive is not paid out instantly, it's paid out over time with the 3% drip from the vault. So it's very powerful. But nevertheless, there will be some initial grouping of sales. And we will be able to completely offset this with the capital that we have in the treasury, which is allocated to supporting the dog pound, the pig pen, and the price of our native assets. So this is where I see one strong opportunity to utilize that capital. Because once we get past that initial kind of group sell event, then everybody is on completely different terms on where their tax reductions are. And it really just becomes a system where everybody's in a different place and everybody's completely independent on their when they need to sell or what actions they need to take as far as their investment. Now, because we have the variable tax, all that, it starts off that way. So that's the way it is to a very large degree. But as I said, there's going to be some grouping there for the initial people that got on day one, and there's always a little bit of a contagion when you get that initial grouping of sell events where people try to use that as a trigger. Okay, well, I should sell too. and we can more than offset that, right? Because we have the capital to do it. So another major use for this capital is injections. Now, I should say that the higher the B&B price is, the more powerful are the more powerful the capital that we have in the treasury is. So we don't want to execute all of this capital on the market while the prices are way down. We're better off utilizing some of it, but it's not going to be a thing where we're trying to time the market or anything like that. It's just going to be a regular deploying of capital over time to support the system. I'm just saying why we don't want to do all of it right now, right away, right? Because there are events that we could use this capital and to have a maximal positive impact and use it the most efficiently. So and just one more thing to speak on that is that we want to use it as a promotional tool as well. So we want to be just careful about how we're timing it to make sure we're having a very strong positive impact from a promotional standpoint as well. Now, let me talk about the changes, the updates we made to the UI. If people go to the home page and scroll all the way up to the top of the home page, you'll see that we have a link there where you could check out the governance API. We also made a hyperlink. If you go to the Pigpen, the word governance there in the explanation of the Pigpen is a hyperlink that will take you to the governance API as well. We added USD values for LPs and tokens. So when you look at what you're earning, for example, if you look at the pigs that you're earning or the pigs you have staked, you can see the USD value now, which is important because say you're earning 0.5 pigs a day in the pig pen. That might not sound like a lot, right? I'm earning 0.5 pigs a day. But if you look at the USD value, that's like $70 a day. And if you're in the dog pound, the auto dog pound, that's compounding. So we want people to be able to have the data to allow them to make the most informed opinion and the most informed decisions possible. And this is why we added USD values on top of the token amounts that you're earning. For one, so people can make educated decisions, and also because it looks very bullish, right? When you actually see the USD value you're earning, especially when you're earning it in a compounded way. Someone asked, can we see the USD value of dogs? Yes. In the dog pound, they said yes. If you go to scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see where it asks you if you want to withdraw your dogs, and it will show you your LP stake and the USD value of them. So everywhere where it's important to show the USD value, when we're talking about like LP values and what you're earning and all of that, we're displaying a USD value for those assets. We also included projected and global, so personal projected earnings and global projected earnings. And what this is showing is what you will be earning on your stakes, and it's on the farm page, it's showing you what you're earning from your farm stakes, right? And in the pool page, it's what you're earning on your pool stakes. It's not accounting for the whole farm, or I should say the whole platform. It's accounting for whatever product page it's associated with. So the farm one is displaying your earnings from the farm, and the pool one is showing your earnings from the pools. Now, it's projecting a USD value earning based on the current metrics. So it's giving you what you'll earn today. And the cool part about it is it's giving you the combined earnings of all your farms and all your pools. So that makes it a lot easier for you to have a perspective on what you're earning and what you will be earning on the farms as a whole relative to your stakes, rather than having to look at each individual dashboard, do the math to make these projections, and then add them all together to try to get a feel for what you're earning on all your stakes projected onto the future. It does this for you. It looks at your earnings in all of your farms, and on the pools page, all of your pools, and then it projects these earnings into the future based on current data. And it's giving you the data for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, and 1 year. We also added things such as higher resolution, commas, so the numbers are easier to read. We added some additional data as far as the amount of B&B that's in the dog pound vault, the USD value of this B&B. We added just a ton of data that people were requesting and that we wanted to provide from the start. As you know, some of the dashboards said coming soon. Any dashboard that said coming soon, we delivered on them. And this is how we're going to be moving forward. I'm not going to be constantly saying, okay, guys, in a month, we're going to try to do this. In 2 months, we're going to try to do this. That's how we've done it in the past. And we always want to be improving, and we always want to be doing better. So rather than saying, hey, we're going to do this in a month, we're going to do this in 2 months, and having this kind of like loose, fly by the seat of our pants roadmap, we're going to talk about what we're working on now so people get an idea for what we're doing. And then we're going to give a date once one of those products is ready to go. So instead of saying, we're working on this, and this, and we're going to try to get this out in a month, and we're going to try to get this out in 2 months, and we're going to try to do this by, Q2 of next year. No, we're going to say, hey, guys, we're working on the single asset staking, and we're working on the dogs roulette game right now. And we have this left to do, and we're working on it extremely efficiently. We're getting it done, and we'll give regular updates on our development progress, but no dates. Because when I give a date, that means we are done, we are completed, and everybody can set it in stone that when that day hits, just like today, when that minute hit 0, we deployed. And we deployed in a flawless way. And the only way to do that is by not giving dates until 100% of the work is done. And previously in the past, what I've done is waited until 95% of the work is done and then give a date. But when you do that in development, especially when you're building innovative technology, you never know what's going to come up with that last 5%, because we're actually solving problems in this space. We're actually creating innovative tech. For example, our auto compounding system, the dog pound, is using a brand new innovative indexing system that we designed using 2 global mappings that allow us to earn a secondary asset that is not the asset that's being compounded. And previously, there was no way to do that. And we came up with an innovative indexing model that allows us to do that. And it allowed us to do that. We had to structure it in a very specific way, so it's updating every 24 hours in order for us to do it efficiently. But the point is, we did it, and we made it possible. And when you're actually solving problems like this, you never know what's going to come up. So that's why from now on, we're not going to give any dates until things are 100% finished. But when we give that date, you know that we're ready to go. And the next thing that we're going to be doing for Animal Farm is single asset lending options that will also auto compound into the product that we're lending to. And we're looking at bridges right now. We're looking at AnySwap, Seller, or Stargate to try to determine which one is going to be the best option for us. Why are we looking at bridges? Because unlike farms, bridges allow you to earn a high yield through single asset staking. And there are decentralized, non-custodial bridges. So it can be done in a low-risk way, in a fully immutable, decentralized way, that also allows us to earn relatively high yield for single asset staking. So, for example, if we were to do single asset staking for like on PancakeSwap or something right now, we're gonna earn like 1% on our APY on our BNB, right? It's just not worth doing. Or like Venus, if we were to do single asset staking to Venus right now, we would earn 0.5% APY on our BNB. It's not worth adding that additional layer of complexity to earn a fraction of a percent over the year. But we could stake to Stargate, for example, or we could lend to Stargate, for example, and earn 15, 20% on our BNB. And that absolutely is worth doing because we have tens of billions of dollars worth of this capital that we lend to them. So 20% is significant. And remember that this is being swapped for BUSD and paid out to the Pigpen. So the way that we'll implement it is the BNB staking lending will be earning AFD just like our current single asset staking does for BNB, but it will be also lending to a bridge on the back end, earning the bridge reward token, for example, Any or the Stargate token. It will swap their token for BUSD. It will allocate a portion of that BUSD to the Pigpen, and it will utilize the rest to compound into your single asset staking position, which increases or auto compounds your position in our single asset pool, which also is compounding your position in the bridge, increasing your ability to earn the bridge's reward token, which then increases the BUSD that you're earning, and it will allow you to earn compound interest in the form of BUSD using a non-custodial, decentralized model, right? Low-risk model. And this is very powerful because there's a lot of capital in some of these bridges, and we will be the first to offer an opportunity for people to be able to compound their position in these bridges, earn an additional 20, 15% APY on top of what you're earning the in the animal farm, and also earn compound interest in the form of whatever asset your principal is. BNB or BUSD will likely be what we start with, and you're creating a new cash flow for animal farm. So the way that I have it worked out now is that if you're doing BNB staking, so you're lending BNB, it will take the bridge reward token that you're earning. It will sell it for BNB. A portion of that BNB will go to the dog pound vault, and the rest will be compounded into your single asset stake, which is now allowing you to earn compound interest in the form of BNB, increasing your principal on Animal Farm and on the bridge, which in turn increases your position on the bridge, allowing you to earn increased BNB, and it's creating an additional cash flow of BNB to the dog pound. And then the BUSD staking will do the same thing, but it will be injecting that BUSD to the pig pen because it's BUSD. So this is an awesome new utility that will be adding to the animal farm. At that point, we become undeniable as far as the utility that we're providing because we have multiple lending options. We're providing an ability to auto compound into these bridges, which is something that only we'll provide, which is a major awesome utility. And we'll be increasing the cash flows both to the user and to our various vaults. On top of this, we'll be allowing our stakers to earn compound interest in the form of BNB and BUSD, which is extremely powerful. And we'll take advantage of any kind of staking option that we can on these bridges. So right now, most likely, it's going to be BNB, BUSD, RAP, ETH, and a couple stable coins. We'll have the single asset lending option. And that's the next big thing that we'll be doing for Animal Farm, and we've already started working on it. The logic has been worked out because PancakeSwap just made this change with the stable pool. We need to focus on that for a few days, and then we'll get right back to working on the single asset staking option. And I just want to tell you guys that we don't have one dev team anymore. Right now, we're working with 2 4-man dev teams to make sure that we're pumping out this work at a very high quality level because we have 2 very strong teams working for us, and they're cross-checking each other's work at the same time. So we're going to be able to produce work at a much greater rate than we have in the past because we brought on a whole additional 4-man dev team, and we're still looking at other developers. We had a couple other developers that we will likely bring on as well to do some of the small side things that we have to do. So you will be seeing a steady progression of product releases every couple months here up until at least 2024. Now, I plan to keep going and keep developing past that. I'm just saying up until 2024 because I already have products worked out that we want to build that are already ready to start being built that will allow us to make these product deliveries every other month up until 2024. A major product that we will start working on Q1 of next year that my plan is to get out by the end of Q2 next year, but we'll see, right? As I said, I'm not going to give any real hard dates until we've actually completed the work on things, but just to give a loose roadmap, just to give people an idea of what we're doing, So when I give that date, I'm not giving that date as we're going to finish it in any date or anything like that. I'm just telling you when we'll start working on this thing. An individualized lending model, but not like Venus, not like these other projects where it only services two or three different tokens, and the people who are doing the lending make 0.08% APY. No, we're doing it in a completely revolutionized way that will work similar to a DEX, that will allow anybody to create a lending and collateral pool. And the interest being that you'll be able to earn is based on the volatility of the asset that's being lent and the ratio of lenders to collateral providers. And it will work similar to a DEX. So this is going to revolutionize the space, right? This is right now, Venus is the number 2 platform on BSC because it's doing lending. And what we're going to do with our lending model is going to make these other lending projects look primitive. We're really going to take it to the next level. And I have the logic for this worked out. There's a couple things that I want to get out the door before we move on to that, such as the single asset lending. And there's a couple games that we've already developed that I want to get out. So there's Dogs Roulette, which is largely ready to go. There's the Dogs of Fortune game, which is built from a contract perspective, but I would like to add a team dynamic to it. So I kind of put it on the shelf for now because we have other things that are ready to go now. And I want to get those out the door. And there's also an auto battler game that I'm extremely excited to put together that is skill based. So it's not play to earn. It's not pay to win. It's win to earn. Similar to a poker tournament style where people will be doing buy-ins to play in tournaments, and the winner of the tournaments will win the pots. And everybody that goes into the game starts at an even playing field. If you have twice the amount of money as someone else, that doesn't give you a major advantage. It just means that you could get into a higher buy-in game and play for higher stakes. So it's not a system where it's going to bleed because it's just constantly paying people just to play. It's a system where you when you win, you earn. And most likely the buy-ins will be in BUSD. And then a portion of the buy-in for each game will go towards supporting our native assets, and we'll have skins and other items in the game that don't give you an advantage in the game, but allow you to add custom ability to the game and more functionality. So you'll be able to buy additional characters in the game that give you a lot more functionality in the game and make the game a lot more fun, but they don't necessarily give you an advantage over another player that doesn't buy these additional packs. So we've already written a 57-page breakdown of how we would build this game, all the way down to every individual function that would need to be implemented, the aesthetic design, how it could be implemented on our platform, and how it could be adopted by other platforms. So again, as I've said in the past, from now on, the things I'm building, I want it to service all of DeFi. But first and foremost, it will be hosted on our platforms and will give some benefit to our platforms as it scales and spreads throughout DeFi. So I'm extremely excited about that. And there's a whole host of things that we're working on right now and that we will be working on that will allow us to continue to deliver. But the important part is that you guys should realize, uh, just because you don't see a date doesn't mean a date isn't close. I just don't want to be promoting dates until we're 100% ready to go, because I want to ensure when I promote a date, we're going live on that date, no matter what. So, uh, so instead, we're going to talk about what we're working on and let people know the progress and let people know that we're close. And really, like any week, we could announce this next product delivery. But once we announce it, there'll be a 1 month promotional period, and then we're going live with it. I just did an interview yesterday with a very big YouTuber, 350 or 360,000 subscribers. He gets 60,000 views per video average. He just showed me the link. The video is essentially ready to go. I think we're gonna have him premiere it potentially tomorrow, or start the countdown tomorrow and premiere it on Saturday. But that's ready to go. We submitted the article to Bloomberg. They were supposed to publish it yesterday, but we got feedback saying that we need to make one small adjustment to it, so we're doing that, and we'll get that published next week. And we have a whole lot in the works as far as marketing promotion. I've been telling you guys that we just signed a new major consulting PR firm that just started working for us. So they started in December. It's going to take about a month, maybe a month and a half, 2 months, for us to get past the initial preparation stage. Right now, I'm doing PR coaching. This is a firm that represents some of the largest ETFs and funds in the world, and they're connected with all of the big players in finance as far as marketing. So they know what all of these various platforms, how they operate. So, for example, before I go on a show with, say, Bloomberg to speak to a specific host, they will give me coaching on how exactly that segment will go, how I can get my message across to them, and how to best speak to this specific host. And all of this is a process. So we've been working on it, and as I said, we have a major YouTuber that will be premiering a video in the next day or two. We have a big article coming out at some point next week. We got another great YouTube live interview scheduled for the following week. The week after that, I believe we have a Bitcoin.com podcast. So we have events scheduled, at least one big out-facing event scheduled every week for this month. But that's just what me and my team have put together. But what the PR firm we're working with will be able to put together is going to be much, much larger. So we're just in the beginning stages here. You're going to see constant progression and constant development as we grow. And there's no better place to be right now in crypto. There's no one that's prepared to deliver the kind of marketing and development that we're prepared to deliver. There's no project that provides the strong utility that we provide while allowing the user to earn a high yield in BNB and BUSD. And there's so much more I could talk about that just gives our platform an edge that's going to allow us to continually migrate capital from these other platforms onto ours. And you see it, right? We're growing by a few $1 million every week, and that's only going to increase. And especially when these other projects see our ability to deliver, and we deliver one solid product after another flawlessly, we're going to be migrating more and more capital out of these platforms. And then when we do this individualized lending, it's going to completely change the game. I promise you that it's going to change the game. So this is, it's my perspective is a long-term perspective, and I think those who have a long-term perspective and are investing now and preparing to be involved in the project over the next couple of years are going to be the ones that benefit massively. And I appreciate everybody. I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate the positive attitude in the platform. And I would say I would like to see more people sharing their referral links, more people producing their own articles, their own content, and getting out there and doing your thing, because it benefits all of us. So that's about that. We'll have next Tuesday, I'm going to have another nice interview, right, with a fairly big YouTuber. Over the weekend or potentially tomorrow, we're going to have a very big YouTuber doing a review plus interview. It'll be premiering. We have some articles going up, some big articles, Bloomberg, Bitcoin.com, and we have a major injection coming up soon as well. And I don't want to create an opportunity for people to front run it and be try to create some short-term arbitrage situation. So I don't want to signal the exact time it's going to happen, but we do have a large injection coming up soon that will be used as a major promotional event as well. So I appreciate everyone. I'll be in the chat, and thank you.